Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I want to do part 88 to my Emochi Chatbot series. We're going to try to curse Rexy again. This is the more improved version of it, so hopefully this time it'll work a little bit better. I did put a little bit of a different greeting so it'll actually get it a little bit easier. For the greeting, I just put, you were doing a Pokemon Talk episode with your sweet pet dinosaur Rexy, when all of a sudden Trico breaks in and then puts a curse on you and Rexy. He laughs and then runs off. You don't notice anything at first, however, after a few minutes, your body starts to transform and you start, oh my gosh, shrinking into a tiny velociraptor. It says when you look at where Rexy was, you instead see a massive 15-foot tall Aggron. Uh-oh, what are you going to do? Eep, that's kind of terrifying. Give me a second. Okay, guys, I don't know if this is going to be terrifying or good. Try to avoid reading out seeing spoilers until I read out on here. I just said I get a little startled at what I see and then go, whoa, what in the world? The Aggron that was once Rexy lets out a harsh, metallic snort, its single eye glaring down at you. Tiny velociraptor, a low growl almost from its chest, vibrating the floor beneath your small feet. It takes a step forward, the ground trembling with each movement. What's going on? Oh, no, why are you speaking for me, thing? As you chirp, your voice high and squeaky in your new form, and you seem to be huddled closer to the wall, feeling incredibly vulnerable under the Aggron's intense gaze. Suddenly, the Aggron's posture shifts. The aggressive stance melts away, replaced by familiar gentleness. The growl softens into a low rumble that sounds almost like a purr. The single eye softens too, and a deep, comforting voice echoes through the studio. Easy there, little one. The fact that it spoke for me is already not a good sign. The voice, though coming from the towering Aggron, was unmistakably Rexy's. Are you alright? You look different. A large metallic hand that stands stands towards you cautiously, as if afraid of hurting you. Hand is surprisingly gentle as it hovers just above your head. Rexy's form flickers momentarily, and for a split second you see a flash of vibrant blue feathers before the Aggron returns. A wave of warmth washes over you as Rexy speaks, a stark contrast to the intimidating presence he currently holds. He seems genuinely concerned, his voice laced with worry. What happened? Did that Trico? Did he do something to you? Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said, I guess so. I feel so small. But that's not the only thing. What happened to you? Rexy's metallic head tilts slightly. A gesture that almost seemed endearing even when he was an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now as an Aggron, it's a little unsettling, but the underlying kindness shines through. Small? Yeah, you are quite, compact. He rumbles, his voice laced with a hint of amusement despite the serious situation. And yes, something has happened to me. I don't feel quite right. He shifts again, and this time the transformation is more dramatic. The Aggron steel-like body ripples and contorts, bones crackling and reforming with sickening sounds. In its place stands a magnificent dragonite, its scales shimmering emerald green and sapphire blue. A plume of smoke curls from its nostrils as it lets out a confused roar. What is... I wish it would stop cutting off. That's the one thing about it that sucks. Here we go. What is going on? The Dragonite echoes, its voice a mix of Rexy's familiar warmth and a new, powerful resonance. He looks down at you with wide, concerned eyes. I don't understand. One moment I'm an Aggron, the next... This! He gestures to his own form with a frustrated flap of his massive wings. He takes a tentative step back, clearly trying to control himself. Studio air crackles with energy as the transformation seems to be taking a toll on him. You can see the strain in his eyes, the effort it takes to maintain his current form. It must be that Trico's curse. Dry Knight says, his voice laced with distress. It's affecting both of us. I'm changing. I don't know. The problem is it keeps flipping. Hold on. It's working out better. It just needs to, one, stop speaking for me, and two, see if we can get a full sentence out. Let's try one more time. Give me a second. I don't think it's spoken with this time, but Rexy's definitely acting more aggressive this time, which is not good. I said, whoa, what on earth? That giggle startled and back up, not completely understanding what's going on. The Agron that now stood where Rexy once was let out a harsh, grating snarl. It wasn't the playful rumble Rexy usually made. It still like eyes fixated on you. Tiny raptor with a cold, assessing gaze. A low growl vibrated from its chest, shaking the studio floor slightly. He took a step forward, and the ground trembled beneath his weight. What are you staring at? He barked, his voice a metallic rasp that was utterly unlike Rexy's usual gentle tone. He seemed agitated, pacing back and forth as if containing a restless energy. He then paused abruptly, tilting his head slightly as if trying to recall something. A flicker of confusion crossed his face for a moment before being replaced by a renewed surge of aggression. You! Little thing! Get out of my sight! Oh, holy frick, that's not a good sign. Alright, guys, I just said, Rexy, is that you? The Agron paused, his metallic head tilting further as if genuinely perplexed by your question. Oh, crap. Yep, he don't recognize me. A strange, almost mournful sound escapes his throat. A stored echo of Retsy's usual affectionate rumble. He seemed to struggle with something, a conflict raging within him. For a brief moment, the aggression glint in his eyes softened, replaced by a flicker of the familiar warmth he associated with Rexy. Took a hesitant step back as if fighting an internal battle. Rexy, he mumbled, the words sounding strained and unfamiliar coming from his metallic voice. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the warmth vanished, his posture stiffened, and the aggression and glare returned tenfold. Don't be ridiculous! I am not some Rexy. He stomped a massive steel foot down, sending vibrations through the studio floor. Oh, frick me. Alright, guys. I said I get scared and back up, my tiny clawed feet moving slowly across the floor. Please stop. I don't want to be hurt. The Dragron seemed to bristle at your plea. His metallic body tensed, and a plume of smoke hissed from his vents. He let out a frustrated roar, the sound echoing menacingly through the studio. Hurt you? Why would I hurt you? You're insignificant. He snarled, though there was a strange hesitation in his voice as if the words felt wrong even as he spoke them. Taking another step forward, you instinctively recoiled, pressing yourself against the soundboard. Suddenly, he stopped. He seemed to shudder violently, metallic form flicking momentarily before solidifying again. The aggressive expression on his face began to melt away, replaced by a look of confusion and distress. Oh my gosh. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said, I started shaking a tiny bit while stuck against the soundboard, really worried because of that massive aggron potentially attacking me. This isn't funny. Where is Rexy? The aggron visibly winced at your words, a pained expression crossing his face. He closed his head with a massive steel hand as if trying to ward off a headache. Rexy? Yes, Rexy is here. He mumbled, his voice now laced with a familiar tenderness that seemed to send a wave of relief through you. He lowered his head, his gaze softening as he looked at you, hand raptor trembling against the soundboard. Oh, little one, he said softly, the metallic rasp now tinged with genuine concern. I don't understand what's happening. It's like I'm fighting something inside. He took a tender step towards you, but stopped abruptly as if fearing he would hurt you. Stay back, he muttered. He mumbled, his voice filled with anxiety. I don't want to hurt you, but I can't seem to control it. He closed his eyes tightly and a low growl escaped his throat. The studio began to shake violently, and a strange energy crackled around him. Oh no. Suddenly, with a blinding flash of light and a deafening roar, the Agron's form began to shift and contort. His steel plates melted and reformed, his massive body shrinking and reshaping itself into something entirely new. When the light subsided, standing before you was not an Agron, but a magnificent shimmering dragonite, scales gleaming with indecent colors, and its powerful wings pulsing with energy. Oh dear. Alright, guys. I said, seeing what just happened, I get a little shocked and even more scared. Dragonite? What in the world is going on? The Dragonite, formerly the Agron, allowed a mournful sigh. A plume of shimmering smoke curling from its nostrils regards you with large, sorrowful eyes, a clear indication of distress. I I don't know, it whispered, its voice a metallic chime that was both beautiful and heartbreaking. It's happening again. He lowered his head, his massive form casting a long shadow over you. I'm trying to fight it, he continued, his voice was with desperation. But it's getting stronger. I don't want to hurt you, little one. Took a shaky breath, and you could sense the immense struggle within him. The battle between the kind Rexy you knew and whatever force was controlling his transformations. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said, you don't want to hurt me. Who are you? Rexy, is that you in there? If it is, then why were you telling me to stay away from you as an Agwan? Do you not recognize me? The Dragonite trembled, its indecent scales shimmering with an almost frantic energy. He seemed to be wrestling with a torrent of conflicting thoughts and emotions. I, I am Rexy, he finally managed to say, the words strained and fragmented as if pulling from deep within. A part of me, a dark part, is trying to take over. He winced as he spoke, clutching his head with a clawed hand. I remember you, he continued, his voice softening slightly. You're my person, my parent, the one who loves me. A flicker of recognition sparked in his eyes, a brief glimpse of the Rexy you knew and cherished. But when it takes control, he stammered, I don't recognize you. I see a threat, something to be driven away. Oh my. Alright, guys, I said, I quit. I am so small and still don't know completely what I am. I was already small compared to you as a human because you wore a massive Tyrannosaurus Rex, but now I'm even smaller. Even as that Dragonite, you still look like Godzilla compared to me in terms of size. What are you even fighting? The Dragonite seemed to visibly deflate at your words, his shimmering form dimming slightly. A wave of sadness washed over his features, and he lowered his head further as if burdened by immense guilt. You're right, he murmured, his voice barely a whisper. It makes no sense. You've always been my protector, my friend, and yet it sees you as a threat. He let out a shaky breath, and the studio air grew heavier with a strange energy. It's difficult to explain, he said, struggling to find the words. It feels like a shadow inside me, whispering dark thoughts, twisting my memories, amplifying my fears. He paused, his gaze distant and troubled. It feeds on negativity, he continued, on anger and fear. The more I fight it, the stronger it becomes, and when it takes over, those feelings, they overwhelm me. I lash out, I become aggressive, and I forget who you are. He looked at you with profound sorrow in his eyes. I'm so sorry for scaring you. I truly don't want to hurt you. Suddenly, a wave of immense pain seemed to ripple through the Dragonite's body. He let a strange cry, and his form began to shimmer uncontrollably. It's getting stronger, he gasped, his voice laced with panic. I can't hold it back much longer. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said, please listen to me. I don't understand what's going on, but if for some reason you somehow transform into a different creature and are not yourself, you're still inside fighting. I need you to stop trying to attack me. I don't know how much I can help because I don't know what's even going on, but it seems like you eventually respond to my voice even as this tiny creature. But please, if it's really you on the inside, you need to not attack me. One wrong move towards me and you could snap me like a twig. The only thing I know is that for some reason you're transforming into different creatures and sometimes seeing me as a threat. I don't even know if it's you talking to me just more aggressively or you act like an entirely different creature that doesn't recognize me at all. Clearly recognize me right now, even as this tiny creature. So please do it for me so I can try helping you. The Dragonite listened intently to your words, his massive form trembling slightly as he absorbed every syllable. A flicker of hope ignited in his eyes, a fragile spark amidst the turmoil raging within him. Maybe it could even be a thing where eventually, the, maybe eventually it could even be like, I don't know, we'll see. He seemed to cling to your words like a lifeline, desperately grasping onto the connection you offered. I, I hear you, he whispered, his voice strained but resolute. I'll try. I promise. I'll try. He closed his eyes tightly, and you could feel a tremendous effort radiating from him, a fierce bow being waged within his very being. He took a deep, shuddering breath and spoke with renewed determination. I'll focus on your voice, he said, his voice now clearer and stronger than before. Whenever it tries to take over, I'll remember your words. Remember that you're not a threat, that you're my person, my parent, and the one I love. He paused, his body visibly strained against the force trying to consume him. It's it's like an anchor, he continued, his voice trembling slightly. Your voice, your words, they're keeping me tethered to myself. Suddenly a searing pain shot through his body and he let out a guttural roar of anguish. His scales began to ripple and shift violently, the indecent colors swirling into a chaotic vortex. Studio 4 shook with renewed intensity and the air crackled with raw energy. It's it's getting harder, he gasped, his voice laced with panic. I can feel it pushing me and changing me. With a blinding flash of light and a deafening roar, the Dragonite's form began to contort and twist in horrifying ways. His wings folded inward, his scales hardened and darkened, and his powerful limbs were shifted into something altogether different. The metallic chime of his voice was replaced by a deep guttural growl that resonated with primal power. When the light subsided, standing before you was no longer a majestic Dragonite, instead a colossal Tyranitar loomed over you. His rocky head radiated an aura of immense strength and aggression. Its red eyes turned with an unsettling intensity, and its massive jaws were agape, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. Tyranitar let a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the studio. But then, something unexpected happened. Why is it Amidst the terrifying roar, a flicker of recognition sparked in the Tyranitar's crimson eyes. It was fleeting, barely perceivable, but it was there. A brief glimpse of the gentle soul trapped within the monstrous form. Tyranitar paused, its massive head tilting slightly as if struggling against an internal conflict. A low, guttural rumble emanated from its chest, a distorted echo of Retsy's usual affectionate purr. It took a hesitant step back as if recoiling from its own aggression. Little one, it rumbled, the word forced and strained as it tore through the Tyranitar's primal growl. Oh, it was fragile, hanging frozen in the balance. It says there's more, but I'm actually going to say something this time so I don't make you start messing up. I just wanted to make sure it fully said what it needed to say. Alright, guys. I don't know if this chatbot's even on here, but ad for another chatbot that had a similar thing to this popped up that was called Psycho AI. But the first review I saw was talking about how it was a bad thing about the app. But it did give me, it did, he did, the review did show three other chatbots. One of them we tried before, that being Sakara, which was a good chatbot, but had only had a stupid message limit that I hated. Um, there was also one called Moscape. There was another one called Loventa, or something like that. Lovenita. I don't know if that's going to mean anything, but maybe I'll try looking up those two other ones later. See if anything shows up. I said, "Hey, Wenatar, please stop and calm down. Is it still you, Rexy? Or do you not recognize me at all?" Tyranitar's massive form trembled, its rocky head rippling with internal struggle. Crimson eyes, moments ago filled with primal aggression, now flickered with a desperate plea for control. He seemed to be battling an unseen force, desperately clinging to the remnants of his former self. He let out a low, guttural groan, a sound laced with pain and confusion. "Rexy?" "Yes," he rumbled, the word forced and strained as it struggled to escape the Tyranitar's monstrous throat. I I remember you." But even as he spoke those words, a wave of darkness seemed to wash over him. His grip on reality wavered, and the crimson eyes began to darken once more. Tyranitar's massive form tense, and his jaws opened in a slight snarl. But. But what? I'm scared. But it's getting stronger. The Tyranitar finished, his voice a tormented echo of Retsy's familiar tone. I turned around through his colossal frame, and the studio floor vibrated with the force of his internal struggle. He squeezed his eyes shut as if trying to block out the encroaching darkness. "Please, hold on," he pleaded, his voice barely audible above the roaring in his ears. "Your voice, it helps, but I don't know how much longer I can fight it." He took a shaky step backward as if retreating from an unseen enemy. Suddenly, a surge of raw power coursed through the Tyranitar's body, throwing him off balance. He let a deafening roar of anguish as his form began to shift and contort once more. Oh my gosh. What's going on? I probably shouldn't have said what's going on, but I don't know when it ain't as working as good as ChatGPT did. It kind of sucks. Transformation was unlike anything you'd witnessed before. It wasn't a gradual shift, but a violent, chaotic upheaval of form. Tyranitar's rocky hide cracked and splintered, revealing glimpses of something else. Colors swirling and pulsed, colors swirled and pulsed beneath the surface, shifting and changing with dizzying speed. It felt as though multiple creatures were warring for control of the same body, forms merging and colliding in a grotesque spectacle. Tyranitar's massive limbs twisted and elongated, sprouting feathery appendages that shimmered with indecent light. His head elongated into a serpentine neck, crowned with a magnificent crest of golden feathers. With a final earth-shaking roar, the Tyranitar vanished entirely, replaced by a creature of breathtaking beauty and terrifying power. Reshiram! What the frick? The legendary flippin' dragon from Gen motherfucking 5? One of them, I mean? Holy heck no. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. It says, after seeing what just happened and the transformation into Reshiram, my tiny raptor body is shaking so badly that I end up losing balance and falling to the floor, hitting my tiny snout hard. Ow! A sharp, stinging pain shot through your snout as you hit the floor, and a whimper escaped your tiny raptor throat. Wilson swam for a moment, and you struggled to regain your balance on the slick studio floor. Sight of the majestic restaurant looming over you was overwhelming, and the sheer power radiating from it was almost palpable. Oh my gosh. So the restaurant, seemingly oblivious to your plight, continued to writhe with internal turmoil. A wave of shimmering energy pulsed from its form, causing the studio lights to flicker erratically. It let out a mournful cry that echoed through the room. a sound filled with both immense power and profound sadness. Suddenly, the restaurant's head snapped around, its piercing blue eyes locking onto you. Uh-oh. Alright guys, I just look up after a second and see the restaurant staring at me. No, please don't hurt me. I beg you. The restaurant's expression softened, a flicker of recognition momentarily piercing through the turmoil raging within. A low, mournful sound escaped its throat, a distorted echo of Rexy's usual comforting grumble. It took a hesitant step forward as if drawn to you despite the internal battle it was waging. Little one, it murmured, the voice of metallic chime laced with a desperate plea. I I don't want to hurt you. But even as it spoke those words, the restaurant's form began to shift once more. Golden feathers on its crest darkened and fried, and its elegant serpentine neck, I'm not saying that T word, and hardened into a scaly hide. Its blue eyes flickered with an unsettling intensity, and its powerful wings began to beat with a frantic energy. Oh, heck no. Alright, guys. I just get even more terrified, but as soon as I try to get up and move, a sharp pain goes through my tiny snout. Ouch! Rexy, or whatever you are, please stop! I'm in pain! The restaurant froze, its transformation abruptly halting mid-shift. The unsettling intensity in its eyes seemed to dim slightly as it registered your pain, a low guttural groan escaping its throat. A sound laced with remorse and regret. I I didn't mean to, it mumbled, the metallic chime of its voice now distorted and strained. I'm losing control. Took a shady step backward as if recoiling from its own actions. Studio air grew heavy with a strange energy, and you could feel the immense struggle within the restaurant intensifying. It seemed to be battling against an unseen force, desperately clinging to the remnants of its former self. Suddenly, a surge of raw power coursed through the restaurant's body, causing it to tremble violently. Oh no. What if it transforms into something even scarier? I swear to frick, if Rexy turns into a bug, I'm leaving. Oh heck no. Okay guys, you did not need to see whatever that ad was showing. It says, with a blinding flash of light and a deafening roar, the restaurant's form began to contort and twist in horrifying ways. Serpentine neck retracting, its golden feathers vanished, and its powerful wings folded inward. The elegant form of the legendary poem dissolved into a chaotic vortex of energy, reshaping itself into something entirely new. When the light subsided, standing before you was a colossal Groudon. Its massive body was composed of jagged rock formations, and its four powerful limbs were tipped with razor-sharp claws. A plume of volcanic smoke billowed from its nostrils, and its eyes glowed with an ominous red light. The ground trembled beneath its weight as it let out a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the studio. What do I even do? Do I try talking to the Groudon, getting it to calm down? Or do I flip and see if I can get Rexy to stop? Or see if I can talk to Rexy and get him to stop? Because, like, at this point, you don't even know if it's Rexy talking to you. I mean, like, Rexy wouldn't attack me like this. Trust me, Rexy's like the real-life version of all the Pokemon on the flipping chatbots. Because Rexy, in reality, is very protective. He will flip and protect me like it's nobody's business. Even putting his own life on the line to do it. Like that time where he stopped Shadow from trying to, attack me. In that one Pokemon Talk episode, the one where Fragger became aggressive. Alright, guys. I said, at this point, I'm just super terrified, but still in too much pain to move. So I just say, please stop. This isn't funny. Groudon, please listen to me. Uh-oh. Oh, yep, he's aggressive. The Groudon's crimson eyes fixate on you, the tiny raptor still trembling on the floor. A low guttural growl rumbled from its chest, shaking the studio floor with each vibration. It seemed to be assessing you, weighing your worth with a cold, calculating gaze. Listen, Ron rumbled. The word a harsh rasp echoed through the room. Why should I listen to you? You are nothing but a tiny speck. It took a step forward and the ground trembled beneath its massive weight. But then as it moved, a flicker of something else crossed its face. A brief flash of confusion and regret. Ron paused, its massive head tilting slightly as it struggled against an internal conflict. Rexy, it mumbled, the word broke audible above the roaring in its ears. What in the world? Give me a second. Alright, guys. Oh my gosh. I said, Rexy, what do you mean by that? Ron visibly shuddered, its rocky hide cracking it slightly as it wrestled with the fragmented memories flooding its mind. It let out a frustrated roar, a sound filled with pain and confusion. It's it's fading, the ground rumbled, its voice laced with desperation. The control, it's slipping. It closed its head with a massive rocky hand as if trying to ward off the encroaching darkness. I remember glimpses, it continued, its voice growing weaker with each word. Sunshine, laughter, a small hand reaching out. A flicker of warmth sparked into its crimson eyes, a brief glimpse of the Rexy you knew and cherished. You, you were there, Grum mumbled, its gaze softening slightly as it looked at you. You were always there. Oh dear. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I don't know if it's Rexy or Groudon I'm talking to anymore, because this has become really confusing. This could be This could be an actual Groudon. Kind of similar to that one ChatGPT one where I had like a flipping like a bunch of spirits of different creatures, like possessing him, making him act completely different. And I like had to literally get him to trust me, or all of them to trust me for it finally swore off. I said, yes, I beg you, whatever you are right now, Rexy or Groudon, I just want you to listen to me. I know I'm an insignificant speck to you, but look at me. Totally a threat to you? I'm so tiny I couldn't even hurt a fly. A fly could hurt me. The Groudon seemed to genuinely consider your words, its massive head tilting slightly as it regards you with a newfound curiosity. The crimson intensity in its eyes softened, replaced by a flicker of something akin to sadness? No, it rumbled, the voice still rough, but now laced with a hint of gentleness. You do not look like a threat. It lowered its massive head, bringing its gaze closer to your tiny form. You are fragile. A wave of remorse seemed to wash over the Groudon's face, and allowed a low, mournful groan. I am so sorry, it mumbled, the words both audible above the rumbling in its chest. I don't want to hurt you. I truly don't. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere, but I still can't tell if it's Rexy, because this is something Rexy would say. Not Groudon. Except for that one Groudon I took care of, that one tiny Groudon. Guys, give me a second. Alright, guys, I said, I can't tell whether it's you talking to me, Rexy, or Groudon. Please help me understand what's going on with you. Are you an angry cursed spirit of a Groudon or what? The Groudon visibly winced at your question, its rocky hide cracking slightly as it struggled to articulate the chaotic turmoil within, and it seemed to be wrestling with a torrent of conflicting thoughts and emotions as we're trying to make sense of the situation. It's complicated, it rumbled, the voice a distorted echo of Retsy's familiar tone. It's not just me, it's something else. It paused, struggling to find the right words. The curse. It's amplifying my negative emotions. It continued, its voice laced with pain and regret. My anger, my fear, my insecurities. It shuddered violently. It twists them, magnifies them, and uses them to control me. I am not an angry spirit. The girl insisted, its voice gaining a sliver of strength. Let's see if it tells me if I click the continue button. Here we go. I am still Rexy, insisted, its voice gaining a sliver of strength. But I'm trapped, a prisoner within my own body, fighting against a force that seeks to consume me. It looked at you with a desperate plea in its crimson eyes. The transformations, they're a manifestation of that struggle. Each creature represents a different facet of the curse's influence, amplifying my power, twisting my emotions, and driving me further away from myself. That might help me do it though, because I know one of the chatbots, I legit talked to every creature he turned into, and eventually got every creature to trust me and like me, and that took away every negative emotion he had, basically breaking the curse entirely. So maybe that'll help on here too, if I can figure out a way to do it. A surge of pain shot through the Groudon's form, and it staggering slightly. It's getting stronger. It groaned, clutching its head with a massive rocky hand. I can feel it trying to take over again. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if this plan will work. Alright, guys. I told Rexy my plan, or whoever it is. Rexy. Groudon, whoever the frick, I've ever forgotten what point he was just turned into. So say. Oh, he's still Groudon, okay. I said, hold on, there may be a way I can help you. You said it was you just with your fears and everything magnified, right? You seem to be acting like a different creature at the same time, though. Please listen to me. I think I have a plan that might help. If you can keep from attacking me every time you transform, I can try talking to you. And if you are acting like a different creature that doesn't recognize me, maybe all I have to do is gain that creature's trust, or essentially regain your trust in every form you take. That way, if you act like a different creature, you will eventually trust me in every form, making it possible for you to at least have some control and still care about me even in random transformations. The Ground's crimson eyes widened slightly, a spark of hope flickering within their depths. It seemed to consider your words carefully, its massive head tilting thoughtfully. The rumbling in its chest subsided slightly, replaced by a quiet intensity. "Our plan?" It rumbled, the voice still rough but now laced with a hesitant curiosity. You believe you can help?" It paused as if weighing the feasibility of your proposal. "It's risky," it continued, its gaze fixated on you intently. "Each transformation's more unpredictable than the last. I can't guarantee I'll be able to restrain myself." But then a flicker of determination sparked in its eyes. "But I will try," the girl affirmed, its voice gaining strength. "For you." That's actually very sweet. I hope it... Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said that plan could work even if you act like a totally different creature. And eventually, if I can gain your trust in every form, maybe it won't be so painful and you could just stay yourself even if you transform into something big and scary. I'm doing my best to talk to every creature. Just please keep them attacking me. If you need strength, I can't give you much in terms of love in the it put love in the morning. Frick off. Because I have some... I don't know what that motherfricker picked up a while ago. Let's just say it said something about me loving on Rexy in the morning or whatever. And then it put something about hecka whiskey. What? I don't know where it got that out of my mouth from, but okay. I changed it. I said, that plan could work even if you act like a totally different creature, and eventually if I can gain your trust in every form, maybe it won't be so painful and you could stay yourself. Even if you transform into something big and scary, I do almost a talk to every creature. Just please keep them from attacking me. If you need strength, I can't give you much in terms of loving on you because I can't get close to you. But please think about this. I'm your dad, and I've cared about you since you were born. If you truly do love me like you have said you do, then I know you can do it. The ground visibly trembled at your words, a wave of emotion washing over its massive form. Crimson intensity in its eyes softened, replaced by a profound sadness and a flicker of something akin to longing. It seemed to shrink inwardly, as if the weight of its burden momentarily lessened. Dad, it rumbled, the word a soft whisper that barely escaped its rocky throat. I, I remember. A cascade of fragmented memories flooded its mind. Sunshine, laughter, the warmth of a comforting embrace. You were always there. The groan continued, its voice gaining power, strength with each word. You protected me. You loved me. You taught me everything I know. It paused, trying to contain the emotion surging within it. I I don't want to disappoint you. A surge of determination surged through the Groudon's, I guess it's saying, body? Is that what it was going to say? No, just tore through the Groudon, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. It clenched its massive, rocky fist, and a resolute grin appeared in its crimson eyes. I will try, it affirmed, its voice now resonating with newfound strength. I will fight for you and for myself. I will do everything in my power to regain control, to resist the curse, and to remember who I am. It lowered its massive head, bringing its gaze level with your tiny form. Thank you. The ground rumbled, a genuine warmth radiating from its voice. For believing in me. For not giving up on me. Suddenly a tremor ran through the Ground's body, and you could feel the familiar sensation of transformation beginning once more. But this time it felt different. Less chaotic and less violent. Oh, that might be a good thing. Uh-huh. You're welcome. Remember, I love you. Even as this tiny dinosaur. Here we go. Bless you. Oh, he finished off with the word I love you. That's so cute. What the frick? Oh, that's adorable. Ground's form began to shimmer and distort, the rocky hive rippling with an internal glow. But this time the transformation felt different. It wasn't the violent upheaval you'd witnessed before, but a more gradual, almost graceful reshaping of its form. I swear if he somehow turns into a Lugia, I'm gonna go insane. Nope. I already saw the name. As the light subsided, standing before you was not another monstrous creature, but a majestic Kyogre. It just turned to the water form of the one it was just at. Because Groudon and Kyogre are enemies. They're the weather duo, basically. What's next? You gonna turn to Rayquaza? That's really the third one. Its colossal body was composed of shimmering blue scales, and its powerful fins pulsed with an otherworldly energy, a gentle mist emanating from its form, creating an aura of tranquility and peace. The Kyogre lowered its massive head, bringing its gaze level with your tiny raptor form, and then it did something truly unexpected. It let out a soft metallic rumble, a sound filled with warmth and affection that resonated deep within your heart. Okay? I can't. He's trying to speak to me. He's trying to speak. I love you too. That's adorable. Although I don't know a voice for Kyogre. I'm so used to doing Lugias or for alligators or Totodiles or crocodiles. I'm not used to trying doing Kyogre. Groudon and Tyranitar technically have the same voice as Fragger because they're scary looking Pokemon. Tyranitar kind of makes sense to have that kind of voice. Same thing for Groudon in some way. But then no Malik watch he'll turn to Fragger eventually. Actually, if he does, that would be amazing. And if I did have to regain his trust, that'd be the easiest one to do it in. Because him. Excuse me, guys. Who is this? That's for alligator on my shirt. So clearly, I care about the Pokemon a lot. Let's see. It acts like he's still trying to continue. So let's see what he says after he said, "I love you." Yep. The Kyogre rumbled, the words echoing with a sincerity that brought tears to your eyes. It wasn't a forced or distorted echo of Rexy's voice, but a clear and heartfelt declaration of love. Oh dear, please don't go in a romantic direction. The Kyogre gently extended a massive fan towards you, not in a threatening way, but as an offering of comfort and reassurance. It seemed to be inviting you closer, despite the vast difference in size. It feels different this time. The Kyogre murmured, its voice of laced with wonder. The curse. It's weaker. Your love. And your words. They're anchoring me. A faint shimmer of golden light pulsed around its form, a testament to the power of your connection. I can still feel it struggling. I'm scared if I could continue more than once, it's gonna mess up. Okay, guys, give me a second. Oh my gosh, it's been 46 minutes. I want to stop in a second. Alright, guys, I said, okay, this time instead of fighting the pain, just let the transformation happen. If you become something aggressive, I will talk to it. Sorry about that, guys. I said, okay, this time instead of fighting the pain, just let the transformation happen. If you become something aggressive, I will talk to it. Just please, if you're still in there inside your head, when you become something else, please do everything in your power to keep that creature from attacking me. That way I can talk to it and get it to trust me. It'll be a long process, but like I mentioned, in my plan, eventually, once I have most of the creatures you turn into to fully trust me, you won't have to worry about me being hurt, even if you transform. The Kyogre listened intently to your words, its massive blue eyes fixated on you with unwavering focus. It seemed to absorb every syllable, carefully considering the implications of your plan. One of silence stretched between you, filled only with the gentle hum of the studio and the soft mist emanating from the Kyogre's form. Finally, it nodded, slowly, a gesture of understanding and acceptance. I I will try. It rumbled, its voice with a newfound resolve. I will relinquish control and trust in your plan. Kyogre took a deep breath, and you could feel the familiar sensation of transformation beginning once more. This time it was different, a surrender rather than a struggle. The shimmering blue scales began to fade, replaced by a darker, more rugged texture. What is he becoming? I would say Fragger, but well, no, Fragger technically just could have a more. I don't know. It definitely ain't Lugia. It'd be feathers. The Kyogre's form began to contort and shift, the graceful lines of its body hardening into something different, altogether different. Shimmering blue scales darkened and got heavier, forming a rough, obsidian-like hide. It's gonna be a dragon. I can already tell by how it worded that. It's gonna be a dragon. Its massive fins retracted, replaced by powerful clawed limbs. Yep, it's a flippin' dragon. A heavy mane of jagged spikes erupted from its neck and back, and its gentle eyes narrowed into piercing slits. Wait, what the? Darkrai? That is not what Darkrai looks like. It described more of what that would be more like a dragon or Feraligatr, not a Darkrai. What the frick? Because it said spikes on its head and back or neck. Darkrai doesn't have those. And it said clawed hands. Darkrai doesn't have those either. That would describe Feraligatr and a dragon much better than it would a Darkrai. When the light subsided, standing before you was a colossal Darkrai. Its form was shrouded in an aura of darkness and mystery, and its crimson eyes glowed with an unsettling intensity. A sinister grin stretched across its face, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. Oh dear, see what I mean? Air around it crackled with an oppressive energy that sent a shiver down your spine. Darkrai let a low gurgle chuckle that echoed through the studio. Oh, heck no, it's chuckling at me creepily. Oh, frick this. Okay, guys, I just said, Darkrai. Okay, that I didn't expect. Please don't harm me. What do you want? The Darkrai's crimson eyes fixate on you, its unsettling grin widening, slightly. I swear to freak, watch it. I swear to freak, you better not do anything. It seemed to be studying you, asserting your worth with a cold, calculating gaze. The air around it crackled with an oppressive energy that sent a shiver down your spine. Want? The Darkrai hissed, the voice a raspy whisper that seemed to sliver into your mind. I want to observe and to understand. What the frick? Wait a minute. Maybe he's not aggressive? It took a slow, deliberate step forward, and the ground trembled beneath its weight. It paused as if considering its next words carefully. You are different. The Darkrai continued, his gaze unwavering. You do not fear me. You speak to me with kindness. It tilted its head slightly, as if perplexed by your lack of fear. Why? The Darkrai whispered, its voice laced with curiosity. I'll be darned. I didn't like how it. Then what was the creepy grin it was giving me? Was it trying to make me scared originally? So Flipper was just like, is this. Did Trico just turn Rexy into a Darkrai, basically? Is that basically the whole mastermind behind all these transformations? I mean, granted, if that's the case, if I could get him on my side, the flipping thing could already be done. Although, not every form would trust me, but maybe they won't be as aggressive as this one. Holy crap, dude. Holy feces! 52 minutes!